So hey everybody, we're taking a look at the 2015, I'll put this little remote right here, Jones Mountain Twin. Now, first thing I want to say is yes, this is set back. There were some errors on the site. I think even in one of the videos, but I think for sure the specs say it's a centered stance. It is not a centered stance. You see it saying it's a centered stance even on the board, the sticker you get on the board, but it's the same 20 millimeter setback stance it's always been. Same reference stance, same everything. It's always been since 2013. That's when the board changed. Now you could barely call this a twin. I think they should call it the Jones All Mountain. Because as you can see, the tip is a little bit bigger, longer than the tail. It's not wider. It's very very twin-like in terms of how it rides switch and regular. It rides switch really well, but there's definitely a difference in the tip and tail. You have a decent amount of camber, you can see. Just like always, a little bit of camber from about here to about here. I'd love to see just a little bit more, just maybe a centimeter or two more, or maybe just a slightly higher arc between the feet, just to give it a little more oomph, a little more pop. But one thing they did to address pop and make this board a little more poppy than last year is they put in a new core. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much the same other than the graphics. And the core is lighter, it's snappier, it's a little stiffer. It just makes this ride so much more fun. And I personally love the graphic. I usually don't comment on that, but this graphic is just so nice. It just, I don't like riding it because I think I just want it sitting on my wall. But I'm going to ride it and I'm going to ruin it by the end of the year. And it's going to look like this. All scratched up and, base used up a little bit. But here's an example. Here's, oops, wait, hang on. Here's last year's board. And, same camber profile, same setback stance. Only difference is this is a little heavier and just not as snappy and light, but, same general ride, same overall feel. Now I want to do one other comparison to a board that's very similar that we kind of call like the Jones Mountain Twin Light, and that's the Slash Brainstorm, which is another board we're super stoked on. The difference, they're both very similar. They're both directional twins with a setback stance of 20 millimeters. They have a slightly setback camber. They have camber between the feet, from here to here or here to here. But then it's slightly set back, so there's more rocker in the nose than there is in the tail. And you can see kind of the same thing going on with the Jones Mountain Twin, which is kind of cool because it really gives you a lot of float on a powder day, but you can center it up and ride very well switch and have more of a freestyle approach to the mountain when it's not a powder day. So this has less camber, it's a little bit more playful, it's a little more buttery, it's got nice pop just like the Jones Mountain Twin. It's a little heavier, but it's a little quicker edge to edge. And now I found that this is just kind of more fun for somebody who's at maybe more the intermediate level, or just somebody who's looking for a more freestyle focused quiver of one board that can then turn into more of a all mountain to free ride kind of board, like when it comes into powder days where you can set it down and surf. And that's one of the things that I love about the Jones Mountain Twin too. It has that same characteristic. I'd say this is just a little quicker edge to edge. This just has a little more camber, a little more fun on a carve. Maybe a little bit more pop. They're both pretty poppy though, but not super poppy. They don't have that just springy kind of feel on an ollie, but this got better this year on that. One of my favorite things is I can pretty much center the stance with the front insert on the back and the front insert on the front put my bindings here, I consider the stance and pretty much, treat this more like a freestyle board. And then just all depending on my moods, use almost every one of these. Because for me, I think it's like 22.75 inches apart from here to here. And then I can just keep using each one all the way back, set it all the way back for a very deep powder day. And this, directional kind of hybrid camber is really amazing when it comes to float. Sometimes I can get lazy and just even ride, or lazy, or if I just want to take a more freestyle approach to, less deep powder. It's really fun to ride this centered too, but it's a very versatile, great board that has great edge hold, and love the upgrade this year with the better core. I think it just makes it a better all-around ride, and they can just keep building on it. Like I said, the only thing I might like to see is just maybe a little longer camber, or just a little higher camber in the center to give it a little more carvy fun feel. But it definitely sits at a higher level than the Brainstorm when it comes to, making good wide radius carvy turns. And it's like I say in the review, it doesn't do anything amazing, but it just has this consistency to it that I haven't found with many other boards. No matter what condition you're in, no matter what you're, from powder to really hard snow, you've got that same feel. And it's very hard to duplicate with a lot of different boards. It's just stable and catch free at the same time. So it's a confidence booster, and it's consistent. So it just allows you to be a better rider in almost any condition. And that's what I love about it. But there are definitely other boards that, rail a turn better. There are definitely boards that have a little more pop. There aren't that many boards though, however, in this shape and category that have this kind of float and powder. Could be a borderline dedicated powder board, and sometimes I actually prefer this kind of directional twin double ender shape to tapered surfy snowboards on powder days, because just sometimes you just like that same feel you've had always, and just riding powder that way. So again, just very versatile, very consistent, fun board. Jones Mountain Twin. It's been a favorite of ours for a long time now, and I just don't see it going anywhere.